been brilliant.
Live special interview with Gary Lineker.
I need to leave. The show's doing well. It's rating well. You're up for it. You enjoy it. You're good at it.
Stepping down from the
To
BBC
leave.
interview, UK 25.
Is that a sense
The
you've
times
got?
on the right side of the screen, times down the bottom.
There was a sense of that, yeah.
But would you have stayed if you could have stayed? Would you have liked to have stayed?
No, I always wanted one more contract. I think it was their preference that I didn't do much of the day for one more year, so they could bring in new people. So it's slightly unusual that I would do the FA Cup and the World Cup, but to be honest, it's a scenario that suits me perfectly.
You think
Well, you did well to
back
do
early
see
2
the
years
two
ago,
Euros
when you responded
semi-finals
to
or
a
whatever.
video from a Home Secretary saying, "Good heavens,
Or
this
finals
is beyond awful."
of
And then you
England.
responded to another Twitter user by saying her language was not dissimilar to that used by Germany in the 1930s. Do you regret saying those things publicly?
I don't regret saying them publicly in terms because I was right what I said, it was accurate. But I wouldn't do it again because of all the kerfuffle that followed. And I love the BBC and I didn't like the damage that it did to the BBC.
Can you not see why some people would say, even if you work for BBC Sport, if you're paid a big salary to work for the BBC and it's funded by the licence fee, you should be impartial? And comparing a Home Secretary's language to 1930s Germany, bumping into government policy, is not impartial.
Why did I have to be impartial?
So you saw yourself as a freelancer and
I am a
therefore
freelancer.
not bound by the impartiality rules of the news and current affairs.
The impartiality rules were for people in news and current affairs. They have subsequently changed.
Good evening. The BBC is in crisis tonight after forcing Gary Lineker to step back from presenting Match of the Day over critical tweets about the government's immigration policy. Its move led to Ian Wright and Alan Shearer pulling out of the programme in solidarity.
I don't blame them.
Got to the stage with the BBC when I was telling them, just ignore it, it'd be fine. And it would have been fine.
So you saying to the BBC, just ignore it? I mean, it was front page news for days.
Yes, but that's it. That's my point again. You're appeasing the people that are after the BBC. They're so anti-BBC on the Daily Mail.
So what should the BBC have done about it?
They ignored it, and it would have been fine, gone away. What did they do? They didn't ignore it, and in the end, they took me off air, which was silly. It was a silly overreaction. And
I agree with you, Gary
Did you
Lineker.
say to them at the time, this is the wrong decision?
Yes. I said, stop worrying about it. Stop worrying about it. It'll be fine. And then the news breaks late Friday afternoon that they're going to take me off air, which they told publicly before they told me. But anyway.
That's disgusting.
So they did.
What, you found out that you were coming off Match of the Day through a news alert rather than the BBC?
Yeah. So
What did you make of that?
I wasn't that bothered, but because I suspected it was coming. But at that point, I was just having late lunch and Ian
We're
Wright.
all entitled to our opinions at the end of the day, aren't we, Gary
Can you call in
Lineker?
advance? Say,
No, but we have a group chat in the day before, and I said this might result with them taking me off air, and he went, "That's so ridiculous." He said, "If they do, I'm not doing the show." And it's one thing saying that; it's a very
date today
much
is the
different thing actually doing it. And I was in
First
the back
of
a cab
April.
on my way home when that happened, and I was crying because
Tuesday morning, guys,
that show of
2025.
support. It's incredible.
Gambling is such a big part of sport, especially football, with the TV ads surrounding it, and you've seen the negative effects of gambling on colleagues and friends. As a society, should we change?
Well, you could
how
say
we look
second-
at gambling
second of
plays
April today.
in football?
People have a bet. I have occasional bet. That's fine. But I know people that it's also becomes an addiction that can completely destroy their lives. I mean, they're talking about taking off the shirts, but you see it on the boards around the ground everywhere. I think football really needs to look at that. I mean, it's all very well, suspending people like Tonali or Ivan Toney having a bet on a football match, and then actually encouraging your sponsors to be gambling companies. So yeah, I think football needs a long, hard look at itself about that. I really do.
Final thoughts that we'll do as a quick fire. You are entering a new chapter. You're 64. You're in good health.
Wow.
Your sons have grown up. What's next for Gary Lineker? Public service? Politics?
No politics, no.
No, I don't
I'm
blame
not
you.
Politics, I've never had a view.
I've been down that halfway, and it was just dodgy and money
I
laundering.
think I'll
I'm with
probably
you.
focus more on the podcast world because it's such a fun business, and it's just been
Good for you, Gary Lineker. Go for it.
Travel a bit more, have a bit more time, have weekends off. So
Good for you, mate.
Weekend trips away.
Final question. If you could go back and relive one moment in your life, what would it be?
The World Cup semi-final shootout with Germany.
Why?
Because we might win it next time.
Gary Lineker, it's been such a pleasure.
Thank
you so
Oh, he's a hero to me. Good man. He's got a, definitely got an opinion. Let's subscribe, share, and sign.